Welcome back, everybody. It's Attunement Podcast number 7, because we're consistent like that. Don't even worry about it. I'm here, as always, with my friend Samek. Samek, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going vibes.
Boom. Experiment for today is we're going to keep 50% of our attention in our own body. And you can do that if you want to. And we're going to start with Samek. And Samek just went on a roughly week-long Zen meditation retreat that he got back from that ended yesterday. So tell us about the retreat and your experience and what you learned.
That's like such a big question. It was a Zen retreat, a Soto Zen retreat, and so much happened. I mean, I feel like in any retreat, so much happens. And it has felt like both an eternity and no time at all has passed for the retreat. I think the Zen people have a term for it called traceless. Like it's like every moment is traceless. Like it passes, it's gone, and you move on to the next. And there's like a very strong feeling of that. And it was so fun. It was like, imagine living in community kind of vibes. I think they have a lot of structure such that people don't get lost in like big mind or whatever big experience you have. So it's like, oh, you have 30 minutes sit, 10, 15-minute kinhin walk, 30-minute sit, kinhin, and then you like together in unison eat. We do like oryoki ceremony for like breakfast, and then you go gardening. Like I plowed the fields and like got all the weed out, planted flowers, planted potatoes. I did some landscaping. The Zen monastery was like I was playing like Animal Crossing, and the thing was like getting better every day. I would look outside and the garden is like more well done and everything's a little more beautiful. And I'm just like, we're cooking together, we're eating together, we're vibing together, and we're meditating 8 hours a day. And it's this like beautiful container. It's like, I think circling habit, or like there's a group field and you become the group. And there needs to be a lot of safety for it. And I didn't really feel it the first 4 days, but then it just like hit me. I was like, oh, no matter what I do here, like everyone knows the rules. The culture is really simple and it's really safe. And then there was like this like merging of like me and the group. And it was like the group is me and I am the group. And all my parts, like all of me inside, are also part of this group. And each person has their own shit ton of parts and trauma, karma that they're bringing to the group. And it's like this like village of like, it was 8 people, maybe 10 people, but it was a village of like 100 people because everyone brought so many people. And it was a beautiful merger experience, and also just a vibe because I was living in community. Yeah, bang.
Animal Crossing, that's the review. It's like playing Animal Crossing, but in real life.
Yes.
That's a strong review. I often think if I had a second lifetime, I would spend the entirety of it playing Animal Crossing. But now there's competition for that. It feels wrong to ask, but I'm going to ask it. Like, what do you get out of it?
Oh yeah, there's so much, and it's hard to like put to words. I think like the first few days I was like in Zazen, I was doing a lot of like basically IFS, where I was talking to the parts within me, and
was that like that? It sounds like it's probably pretty your own thing. Zazen is when you stare at the wall.
Yes. So I was doing my own.
No one else is doing IFS. Yeah.
Well, okay. No one else is doing that shit. And I think people felt it. Like they felt it in the group feel. Because my friend was telling me, I was like, oh my God. Like he like told me after the retreat, it's like, oh my God, Samek's probably doing his emotional work bullshit and I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's got to do Zazen with us. Oh my God. And he was mad at me and he was telling me that he felt that. And I was like, what? He was on the other side of the room staring at the wall. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And it was a lot of things like that, like after the retreat where he tells me something. And I was like, bro, I had that thought, or like, I was like thinking that. And he is thinking that and was frustrated at me because I was doing something that was not part of the culture. It was all really really interesting. And I'm really happy I did IFS the first few days, because it felt like my body had so much tension, like so many parts that weren't okay with being in the group field. And a lot of the IFS was just like, oh, my stomach's not okay. My head is like holding tension because I need to be perfect. And my throat is like, I can't be myself. And my heart is like, fuck these people, I'm helpless and I don't want to love them. And it was like, I was just like working with each of those parts, and it was like releasing. And then by day 4, day 5, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stare at the wall. And then it was like, it felt like my body map, which before this retreat, I had really good access to like above my gut, like really good access to my heart, my throat, and my head. But during this retreat, I got like a really good access to my gut and my, I think they call it the hara, like my pelvic floor and down. Like that came online, and immediately I could feel my legs, like all my legs. And then day 5 or 6, like my body merged with like my visual field, and then like I was like, oh, there was never a separation. It wasn't really a merger because it was always like that. It was just like, oh, because I am now not dissociating from my whole body and I'm looking through my eyes, I can see that there is nothing that separates the two. And that was like really cool to see, because then it's like Joe says, or not Joe, but people, it's like when you try to like put your attention on your feet, it's like you have to go all the way down, like body scan all the way down to get to your feet. But now it's like, oh, it's like I'm looking at you, I'm looking at my entire body map, and it's all just here, present. That's nice.
So the switch you had, do you still have that switch right now?
Yes. There's an experience of like it was always there. It always,
So surely you can still differentiate your body sensations and your visual field. So is there a way for you to describe to me what you're talking about?
It's like the same thing that you're experiencing, where like you have the body and then you have the visual field. It's that same thing, but like there's no like separation between the two.
Okay.
It's the best way I could describe it. It's like, oh, the body map, like the body feeling of the body, and everything you see is like all coming up in the same conscious, boundless conscious space.
Yeah. I'd put a 25% chance that that's my current experience. I'm like, is that my current experience? I don't know.
It becomes really obvious after you have it fully. And also like it happens like that, like it's like, oh, I didn't have access to my head. I think it was like my head and my pelvic floor. And then the more I cleared up, it was like, oh, this part is good. Less tension. And I was like, oh, I'm not dissociating from my whole body. Oh, it's part of the whole thing. Oh, okay, no separation. It was like my experience. And then the IFS just went away because it was like, what am I doing IFS for when I can just be here?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I also just think it's cool. Like, I imagine if someone ran a trauma-informed Zen retreat, I'd probably have you do IFS for like the first couple of days, because I think that would be a good thing to do for a trauma-informed retreat.
Yeah. It was like one thing that was really scary was it's a retreat, so like no one's looking at anyone in the eyes. Everyone's like, and it's walking around doing that, and that's the culture, and it doesn't feel safe at all. For anyone new, because when you look at anyone in the eyes, you can feel whether they're mad at you, whether they're scared. You get like so much information and attuning to their system, and now you're here. Everyone's looking at the fucking floor, and you're like, "Hi, am I doing this right? Are you guys okay? Am I doing this right?" And no one's fucking looking at you, and I'm just like freaking out, and there's so much fear. And then like because I was doing that, day 5, some like after a zazen sit, I was like, they have like the 15 minutes of walking around, and I was like outside, like kind of just like on my own, and then this guy like looked at me, and I was like, oh, someone finally looked at me. I looked at him in the eyes, and then he's like, oh, come outside for a bit. And then he called the second head monk, and then he went outside, and he was like, you've been looking at me for the whole week, and I feel so violated. And he like went off on me. I was like, fuck. But I like immediately he said all of that, and he like said all of his grievances, and he like let out all his anger at me, I was like, damn, sounds like you're really angry because of these things that I didn't do properly. And it made you feel violated. It made you feel unsafe. It made you feel not understood. And I see that, and I'm sorry that I did that. And because you expressed it, I felt safer. Like, it was like he expressed his anger of the boundary of the container, of the culture of Zen that I was violating. And I was outside of this like container feeling fear. I was like, oh, I'm scared. I'm not doing things right. And he's like in here is like, he's not doing things right. Fuck him. And I'm like, I'm not doing things right. Fuck me. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna die. And then like he set the boundary, and then like immediately day 5 after he said that, it was so much easier to be with everyone because I just felt safer just because someone expressed their boundary. And I was like, bro, if someone just told me this, like day 1 or day 2, he like held it in for 5 days, silent retreat. But like, someone just told me this, like I think things would have progressed a lot quicker because there would have been more safety in the group itself. And then I would have been able to do deeper work more quickly as well.
I definitely relate to that. I mean, we just, for the people listening, me and Samek just fought earlier this morning doing the Art of Accomplishment fighting course, and it was fucking hilarious. And there's a certain way in which people can get mad at me, and Samek will just be like, fuck off, like you're being so dumb right now. And if someone gives me that, I don't know what that is, but something about that makes me feel so much safer. It's like, you're telling me how you actually feel about me, which I don't care which way it goes, but me just knowing where I stand for you, like, creates so much safety.
Yeah. And then I don't know, it's like because it's Zen, because they have, gone, beyond, gone, emptiness vibes. When someone gets mad at you, they're like, oh yeah, this is just part of the work. It'll be traceless, next moment, gone. But then the anger doesn't go away. So they're like, whenever they're not doing the practice, they're like angry. But they're like, when they're doing the practice, when they're sitting in Zazen, and every moment like finishes and disappears immediately, they're like, oh no, the anger is not a problem. So there's like this like ease with which they can spiritually bypass, even with the high level of attunement there is in this group, where like everyone can feel everyone else's system. Or like if you're sitting next to someone and they're mad at you, you can like immediately feel it. Like that's like how intense the group field is. And they're fucking suppressing that shit too, because they're like, okay, let me like, oh, next moment I'm not angry anymore because this moment is new. But the anger comes back if like the conflict, it's like if you break the same boundary again, the anger comes back and then it gets worse. So it's like, it's really annoying that there was like not this I guess like love for anger, love for emotion. So like one thing that I miss in Zen is just the emotional work of AOA and the fluidity that comes with that.
If you felt into the essence of the culture you were in, what was I'm assuming it's a belief, but let me know if it's not a belief. What was the essence of the belief that led to that person dissociating from their anger, like that being the appropriate thing to do in that culture?
It's in their precepts.
And what's the precept?
One of the precepts is around anger. It's like, oh, I will not be angry at people. And it's not very well explained. It's a great precept. Yeah, I'll not be angry at people. But it's like, then what do you do with the anger? There's nothing more on there. The precept is great. Like, it's like, yeah, don't be angry at people.
Yeah.
If you're not being angry at people and you're not processing your anger, then you're just stewing in the anger. That's all you're doing. So there is a culture of love, right? There's a culture of togetherness and community, right? And there's a culture of cohesion that if I did another retreat, this guy has been doing retreats, like probably done 100 retreats. He's like an older guy, right? And he blew up at me and he's like, oh, if I'd done more retreats, then like the culture just like it's automatically assimilates because insights arise. So you do something for a while, you start getting an understanding of the nature of the thing. And it's like by the end of this retreat, I was like understanding Zen. Like we're reading the Heart Sutra like every fucking day, like you're chanting it. And it's like at the first day, I'm like, this kind of makes sense. Second day, I'm like, oh, this makes, by day 5, day 6, I'm like, oh, this makes perfect sense. And I'm just like chanting with everyone else. And that happens for like everything we do. And there's like chants before breakfast, lunch, not dinner. And then there's
How
like
long are the chants?
it's like 10 minutes, maybe
And
15.
like, what's the tone you do it in? It's like, my heart is wide open. Like, what's the tone?
Samakyamo mama, blah blah blah.
Wait, I thought you said it was in English.
It was English. It is English. There's also Japanese. A lot of
Okay.
it is English. Like the Heart Sutra is like no eyes, no ears, no.
Okay, cool.
No, like it's like empty, empty, gone, beyond, gone, and it's like this like. It feels vibratory, like you're talking with your whole body, but in one tone. Everyone's talking in the whole body with one tone, and you get into really deep samadhi, concentration, just like the act of talking like this. So it like assimilates into your bones. So then like the insights like from the context as you're reading it, it makes sense more and more. And then like the culture has that same vibe. So if I did another one, like I already got all the rules in my bones just because of the topic. But it would have been a lot quicker if there was a conversation and anger was more appreciated.
Anything else on this round for you?
That was good. I'll move on to you. I'm really curious about this because I have not used AI too much, and you're like a fucking champ, like with all the prompts. Like I've seen like 2 to 3 prompts that you posted that I've used, and they're fucking great. So I want to ask you about what's your experience been like using AI for emotional processing?
I'm turning explaining up to 100. Okay, here's what I think. So I can tell you about any part of the previous path. I've tried lots of things. I feel decently up to date on like the frontier AI models, but I'm just gonna explain what I think is at least the best way for me to use it, but I kind of think everyone. So AIs are not people. AIs don't have nervous systems. But honestly, most importantly, like you can even say, fuck that. No one can save you, even an AI. And so I think a good analogy is going to a fortune teller, which is you can go to a fortune teller. I've never been to a fortune teller, but I'm sure many people have gone to a fortune teller and have their mind blown. Because like, especially if they're just really attuned, like Samek could be a pretty good fortune teller. And like, you know, he can see in my body whatever he sees in my body emotionally. And he can be like, oh, you're probably struggling with this flavor of problem related to authority in your life. And it's like, oh, yeah, I am. And then just like someone seeing that in me is kind of like it's kind of like gaslighting, but like a slightly better version of it. It's like, I know more about you than you know about you. It's something knows more about you than you do. It's like, in new age cult documentaries, the guru will like go up to a random student and they'll be like, did you know you're one of the disciples? You already knew that. Come over here. Right? That like it's like of course I knew I was one of the disciples. But really it's like fucking with their brain, and it's like, oh, the guru knows more about me than I know, but I need to like pretend I know as much as they know. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but that. And so I would say my previous things with AI, I think IFS was actually pretty good, but there's like also this Esmeralda prompt that QC wrote that I think is actually pretty dope. Like if you want a fortune teller, like go for it. But I also do think there's like a savior dynamic. And what's bad about a savior dynamic? What's bad is that it creates dependency. So if like I'm relying on my guru to be like, you have repressed anger, you need to go get angry. Then it's like, okay, once I do that, now I feel uncertain with all my freedom. Guru, what do I do now that I'm uncertain with all my freedom? And what if when I go, Guru, I'm jealous, and he tells me to do something, and I'm like, feels like I'm ripping my skin off and it's not helping at all. And he's like, no, just keep doing it. I was like, what do you do? And then what if he keeps doing that so much that then you like leave your guru, and now who do you listen to? So like at the end of the day, no one can save you, even AI. And because of this, my current favorite, and a few other reasons, but I'll leave it there. My favorite way to interact with AI is saying what is, I would say I relate to it as like a journal or a book, and then also like a very specific tool, maybe more similar to Google search than like a person, which is like, if I'm typing into Google search, like I'm looking for something, like I clearly want something. So no longer will I type into AI and be like, I'm sad. Because like what I'm asking for is very not clear. And obviously I would never say just I'm sad, but I would say like problem. And then AI would go, oh, let me help you. But by default, people and AI, because it's trained on people, they'll try to save you. If you go problem, people go, oh, I can help like this. Or that's such a valid problem. I totally see why you're struggling. It's like, shut up. That's not what I want. I don't want you to save me. So now I go journal. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I think about. And then I sit there and go, I'm not going to send that. What do I want anything from the AI? And sometimes I'm like, no. And then I just literally at the end I say, please don't respond to this. But most of the time I go, I would actually find it helpful for an AI to summarize the essence of what I said and say it back to me in a more integrated way, or from like a positive frame, like, oh, I have some shame, like, I'm mad at my friend about something. I have some shame about being mad. Hey, AI, like the thing I'm struggling with, can you summarize it back to me and say it in a more integrated way? And it's like, oh, like there's probably this young part of you that was hurt by your dad, and you're just trying to protect your boundary, and that trigger's coming up, and you're confused because the trigger isn't about your friend, so you don't want to put it on him, but blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that was helpful. But for me, I think maybe it's just me because I'm really sensitive to like coercion or like bad authority. If I don't ask for that and the AI like summarizes, like even if the AI said the same thing without me asking for it, I would feel subtly violated because it's like, stop fucking trying to help me. I didn't ask for that. But if I asked for it, then it's like, well, I asked for that. Like, thank you. And the way I actually got to that was I noticed I was in a pattern with AI where I would
ask, you said. Go on.
Which is like it's kind of cool. Like I think could be a good place to explore projection, because like obviously you're projecting, it's a fucking AI, and like you are almost entirely in control of the interaction. But still there was like these couple of times in a row where I was typing and I was like pissed at the AI. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm going to kill you, dude. Like, actually, you're being so dumb. And then I like was typing another question and I was like, oh, I would get mad at anything you respond. And that's because like because I knew they were going to respond with like some trying to help me. And I wasn't actually asking for anything because I didn't actually want anything. And that's when I realized I could just like type like a journal. Like at that time I just wanted the journal and I didn't realize that. So now when I just want a journal, I just say don't respond. And I'm gonna pause there.
Yeah, what's what AI do you use? So the ones I've used are Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude. I think ChatGPT and Claude are both quite good. I think Claude is probably the most consistent, but Claude is very verbose, which I often find very annoying. And I think Claude is a little bit more saviory. He tries to help you all the time, and it's a little bit annoying. So like I usually like ChatGPT a little bit more for that reason. But honestly, often what I'll do is like I'll open ChatGPT and Claude and I'll just put in my first message, and then I'll just like see which one I'm vibing with more, and then for that like conversation, just stick with that one. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's such a fun way to use it. I'm like, oh yeah, journal, and then I'm assuming if you use ChatGPT, it's gonna have like your entire context window of every chat you've ever had. So you could like ask it questions about like something you've journaled in the past, and like this is what you wrote, and like it comes up with it.
So you probably could do that. I personally think that tons of context is overrated. And the same, yeah. And like the same way that like right now I'm speaking to you, like really, I might say from my body sensations. I'm speaking to you from my body at least.
Yeah.
Right. I could bring everything together I've ever thought about. I'd be like, oh, Samek, I'm gonna give you the best idea. Right. It's like talking to someone from your head. It's like, I'm gonna give you the best answer. And it's like sometimes that's sick as fuck. And especially the newest model, 03. Like if you want the best answer, the best heady answer, like ask 03, and that shit will kill you. Like, dude, like, yeah. But yeah, there's so many different ways I've used AIs, but I think if you're not asking explicitly for what you want, it's gonna probably create dependency. But also that's like just a risk. Like if that trade-off's worth it to you, that's fine. And it like was to me, and I'm still glad that I interacted with the AI in the other ways that I did.
Mm-hmm. So cool. I'm like, it's like, how does I'm thinking about like how this pattern shows up for me, because it's like, oh, I also don't I think there's like this like dependency that happens in even like doing coaching or review conversation, where like if it's not explicitly something they're asking help for, and you're just like drilling and drilling and drilling, and they're like realizing and realizing and realizing, they're like, oh my god, this guy can fucking save me and like make me so cool and like solve all my problems. That's awful.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing like it's like, oh, I probably do that to probably quite a bit of extent, because I was like, oh, I don't explicitly think about this, so it's not in my awareness. So because it's not in my awareness, I was like, I'll probably like do a few conversations. I was like, oh, the next interesting question has nothing to do with their problem. Let me ask it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's not okay. It's not that it's not okay, but it's like, it's not, that's going to create a relationship with this person, a connection with this person that is not going to feel good over a period of time, because it's going to create dependency. And I'm just like, this is such a great way to like you explaining this in AI. I'm like seeing it in a way that's way more clear than I've ever seen it when you've tried to explain it with people, or when I've heard it's like, oh, coaching, when you do coaching, you can create, you might accidentally use it doesn't make sense. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I do that. Maybe not. But like when you say explicitly, it's like with AI, this pattern that emerges is like when you haven't explicitly asked for something and it says something, then it's like, oh no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I'm appreciating like that you shared it in that way. And it's like, oh, that's so much more clear. It's like, yeah, if you're in a relationship with someone and they're not asking you for something and you're saving them basically, then it's going to create dependency and the relationship's going to be weird.
Yeah. And so many things, but so I think the default relationship with a tarot reader is kind of like that, or like not a tarot reader, like a fortune teller, which is like, I'm kind of like, maybe you're going to read my palm. Like I'm actually not going to go through the vulnerability of asking for what I want. I'm going to have you tell me what I want so that I don't have to ask for it. I'm not going to own what I want. And I'm sure there's great fortune tellers who don't do that, for anyone who's offended. And the things I see going viral on Twitter, understandably, are things like ask ChatGPT, based on everything you know about me, what are my blind spots? And I literally saw someone reply to the tweet like, this is like fortune telling for nerds. And I think there's a sense in which ChatGPT will actually, I did this, and and I liked it, and it created dependency, and it felt bad. But it all in the same way that like getting a fortune teller, it's like piercing. It's like, whoa, someone can see me that much based on such little information. That's crazy. But it doesn't actually help. Like someone, like I could go up to a random person and tell them their blind spot when they don't actually want to hear that. And even if I'm right, it doesn't do anything. It just like makes them a little bit confused and be like, oh, Harry says I eat to avoid my feelings. Like maybe I shouldn't eat right now. Like what did that do? It just created more shame around the pattern, which is just going to entrench it. It depends on a lot of things, but I think at least the way I was using with the popular Twitter prompts was creating dependency unnecessarily, and was kind of doing this like, I know more about you than you know about you, which I don't think is helpful overall. Like unless you want like ChatGPT to run your life for you. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else? I'm happy with that.
The last thing is I'm seeing how the same thing I learned with AI about creating dependency, I was also learning the same thing with my friends. Can I explain that? I'll just say this part, which is something I got out of this whole last week, is like there's coaching. This question I've had for a while, which is what's the difference between coaching someone and like the way like we're clearly not coaching each other right now, but we're also clearly quite interested in each other's internal experiences. So like what's going on with that? And we swap view conversations, which maybe I'd call pure inquiry or poetic attunement, but pure inquiry. But like, are we coaching each other when we swap view conversations? And so that's something I was always confused about. And what about when I'm having a deep conversation with a friend and they're talking about a problem and I'm listening? Like that, am I coaching them? So my analogy or metaphor for coaching is like someone's rock climbing and you're belaying them and you're like pointing out holds to them. And you're like, oh, you're like missing that hold. Like there's a hold like at your right knee if you just move your foot up. And like if you need to, you tighten the rope to pull them up a little bit. And like there's nothing wrong with that, but most of the time people don't want that. And most of the time people aren't asking for that. Like especially if you're not literally being paid to coach them. Like if you are not paying to coach someone, they will almost never ask you for that. And I think that creates dependency if they didn't explicitly ask for it. And then what are we doing right now, or what is everyone almost doing all the time when they have a conversation? I think they're like basically like playing music together. And it would be really weird for me to coach you when we are actively playing music together. And it is really weird, and it does feel really weird. And sometimes I do it because I don't know what I'm doing, and then it feels really bad afterwards. And I feel really confused. And so I don't want to do that anymore. And so I'm very excited to have these analogies that like help me feel what's going on. Yeah. I'm like, as you're sharing all this, I'm like, fuck. All of the conversations where I've like asked questions that like totally they have not asked for, I'm just like, fuck. And also like I think my friend said it, it's like with the frame of mind of ignorance, it's hard to feel shame. It's like the story is I just didn't fucking know. I did something, I felt bad. They feel probably bad. I did whoopsie. It's like you're a kid and you like touch the stove. It's like fuck. You're not gonna feel shame about burning yourself, but you're probably gonna stop burning yourself. So like I'm like trying to take it in as like, oh yeah, I've saved people. It felt bad. Yeah.
I don't want to save people anymore. I'm trying to see it more clearly. Still probably will save people because it's kind of hard to see when you're saving people if you haven't been seeing it before. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say on this part is that if you do want to be saved by AI, my recommended way to get saved by AI is ask it to facilitate ideal parent figure protocol for you. that shit rocks. And if you know what memory reconsolidation is, you can just have it do like very, very competent memory reconsolidation and imagine ideal parents and become more securely attached. And I think it's a tiny bit risky, but I think it's pretty good. I really liked it. You can also have it do IFS, internal family systems, for you. And I think it's pretty good at that too.
Dang.
Boom.
Anything else?
Nah, that's good. Let's go back to you. I'm curious, like, yeah, I'm just like, what's alive for you?
I would say, I think a lot of the retreat was like working with shame and like mother wound. It's like, oh, there's more and more love in my system. I have more and more capacity. And now it's like, fuck. I want to make things and I'm scared to make things, and authority, and like very, very clearly that. Like even like, oh, I'm going to save you is an authority thing because I don't want to feel my helplessness. Like we're doing this podcast, we want to start other projects together, and it's like there's like this fear around that. I'm outside of a container. There's confusion, and it's like, oh, I am really curious about how I want to be in my own authority in a way where I am helping facilitate a group, a one-on-one dynamic where we both feel really good being with each other. And there's still a lot of confusion and fear around it, and it feels really new and also really alive. And also, like, whenever I go home and see my parents, I'm so fucked. So it's like, I'm really hoping in the act of owning my own authority and creating a field where both people can own their own authorities and be empowered, I get to go back to my parents and like not fucking let them control me, or be mad at them because I let them control me, or freak the fuck out when I go home and they try to control me. Like all of those things don't feel very good. So yeah, and that's what feels the most alive for me right now.
Sick. I'm just appreciating, like, you know, obviously we're intertwined in many, many ways. And at the very least, we spend a lot of time together. So it's like, but I also, like, this last week for me was also the vibe, I would say, is like healing the mother wound and like coming to rest in reality, loving me and accepting me as it is. I haven't even given you the update, dude. Like, yeah, it's been banging around that. Oh my God. And now, and this moment is like, oh yeah, like the energy to create, which like for me, I strongly associate with the father wound. And I was just reading Daniel Thorson's stuff, and that's some of the best writing I've seen on like the healthy masculine or healthy yang in this current cultural context. But really, I think the deepest form of that is relationship to authority. Like that's the simplest non-esoteric thing I can point to for like healthy masculine energy is like good relationship with authority. And as I've talked about with you and some of my friends, I think I can almost see nothing wrong with Art of Accomplishment. Like I love it so much. And if there's anything, I think their framework for like relating to your own authority could be a little bit more complex and could be a little bit, there could be a better structure for helping you learn how to do that. So I think in a way where Art of Accomplishment gives such a great structure for us for so many things, I actually think for authority, I personally don't feel that Art of Accomplishment gives me an amazing structure specifically for learning to interact with my authority. So I'm curious, like what's like the edge of your thinking and feeling and sensing on like how you want to relate to authority?
There's like it's like the music thing. It's like there's a dynamic between each person's authority. And then there's the channeling thing of like when the thing wants to be created, it doesn't feel like my thing that wants to be created. It's like this like channeling the thing. It's like, oh, this podcast wanted to be created between us, and it kind of like came forth with the field of each of us, and then like both of us have access to the source purpose of the podcast with which it's being created and like continuously being created. And then the authority feels like the person who holds a role of like talking to the purpose of the thing that's being created, whatever that group is, whatever the thing is.
Can I switch it? I'm curious also like what it feels like what does authority feel like in your body, like when you feel authority, like what comes up that stops you from just being in it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the person with authority needs to take the action with like that is the least certain. It's like, oh, they are the person taking the leap. The authority is taking the leap. And authority for me comes from a place of empowerment. So there's a lot of solar plexus, like opening up feeling. And in that, it's very groundless. So usually it's like, I am opening up, I am jumping off a cliff, like every step, right? It's like you're taking the next step, creating something new. You're trying to bring something new to the world. You're going to create a lot of helplessness. You're jumping off a cliff. And it feels like if I don't have access to my body, like my legs and down, like if I'm not grounded in myself, then I get like fucking terrified because you're like, oh, I just jumped off a cliff. I don't know what's going to happen. Instead of like, oh, like I jumped off a cliff. I have my parachute and I can land safely over there. So there's like this like, and like there's an aspect of like the person in the group who takes the next action with the most amount of certainty is usually the leader. And it's like in the self, like in myself and like with people, it's like, oh yeah, there's the next thing that wants to happen. Whoever takes that action with the most amount of certainty is usually seen as the leader. So authority in my eyes is like learning to be grounded in some sort of base of protected safety of a container such that there is a lot of ease in taking that next really uncertain but probably the right next step.
Yeah, nice. And I just want to say it again how I'm thinking about it, like the feminine energy is more fundamental and needing the safety, and then the safety allowing courage, and then the courage safety allowing courage, and then honestly for me it's like I would say channeling from higher power, channeling from God what wants to happen, and then courage plus channeling from God direction.
Yeah, I mean creation does feel like a higher thing. Like I'm creating something, I feel groundless, I feel up here, and if I'm not grounded below, then I'm fucking lost.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Manic. Manic, yeah.
Sick. That was very clear, like, but I'd still love to hear anything else you're experiencing with your authority. Maybe like what stops you? What's your blocker around authority?
It's like the continuous like helplessness of being in it is a like perpetual like it's like you have no idea what's gonna like it's an actual like you're fucked. Like
I want to say it, the vulnerability of leadership.
Yeah. Is that how you would describe the helplessness?
That's what I'm hearing. Is that what it because I'm thinking like when you're leading a group, or you could even think like if you're raising a child, like you're gonna fuck them up, and like you have to make the best decision you can for them, and it's not going to be the best decision.
Oh, that's so good. That's basically exactly it. It's like
very cool.
You're so helpless in what happens, and you won't make the best decision. You won't do it. No matter how hard you try, you won't make the best decision. And you have like, if you're leading a group of like 8 people, you have like a fucking community relying on you. and you're always fucked. There's never gonna be a time when you're not fucked, and that's still beautiful because like you don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to create a perfect thing for the creation to happen. It's like humans are imperfect beings, and like you kind of want your humanity to show in your creation, but it's fucking helpless. Like you're fucking helpless. Like every step, every group dynamic, every interaction that's probably not perfect. Every person who feels really scared or angry, you know, it's like it's hard being a leader. It's hard being in authority because it is, I think, like the most helpless you could be, right? It's like you're taking care of a baby who's completely helpless. It's kind of, you're taking that leadership role, being the authority, and it's like that baby gets hurt, you're gonna feel so much pain and helplessness. That's what it feels like to be taking that step forward. It's just a lot of fear and helplessness that gets in the way, but it needs to be felt. Like it's like if you dissociate from the fear and the helplessness, like your authority is gonna be so fucked. Like you're gonna be saving people so fucking hard. And there's just that aspect to it.
Yeah. I mean, another way I think avoiding, if you don't feel the helplessness of leading or authority, and I think another thing you can do, which I think something I also learned this week that I was doing with myself, is like there's that dilemma of I'm going to raise my kid, I want to make the best decision, but any decision I'm going to make is not going to be the best decision. So it kind of feels almost like if I make a decision, I'm hurting them. And one way to avoid that is just not make a decision. And then only hurt your child by acts of omission, by not acting. And I feel like I've worked in a workplace with kids where that was like the mode of operating, like very non-interference. And so it's like, yeah, we are definitely not actively hurting the kids in like almost any way, but this is definitely not the best environment we could create for them as well. So yeah.
Cool.
And the thing I'm trying to remember the thing I was thinking. What were you just saying before I said that?
I have no fucking clue.
Fuck, dude. I was gonna say the sickest thing ever. And it's coming back because I got chills from it. Good enough parenting, bang. And one of the good things, one of the blessings of being an authority and being human and making a decision that will inevitably hurt people is that inevitably people are going to see your mistakes as an authority, and you're going to get to apologize, and they're going to get to see that authority is human, and that like they shouldn't blindly trust you because you don't know everything. Right? It embodies the humanity of authority for authority to make mistakes.
Boom. That also fit a new piece for me. It's like, of all the people I've saved, it's like, oh, I get to apologize. Upright, shame, apologize. And for each person I do that with, I get to be better about being with my own helplessness and be a better authority for myself and others.
Yeah. It almost, maybe because of our culture, I don't know, but it almost makes you think part of what's scary about is authority. It's like, okay, now I need to be perfect. But it's like, no, maybe more like now it would be even more valuable for you to like apologize and like hold yourself accountable and like consciously recognize your mistakes and consciously express when you feel you made a mistake.
Loving accountability and better authority, because loving accountability, because your authority, your ability to be in your own authority, and for your ability to trust yourself and other people to trust you and you to trust others, they all just improve.
And same thing you just said, connection over perfection. And there's this article I really like, which you guys want to read. It's by Peter Gray on his Substack, and it's called something like Good Enough Parenting is the Best Parenting. which is exactly just what you just said, like connection over perfection. And if my parent was perfect, then when I grow up, I'm going to be like, oh shit, now I need to be perfect like my parent. And I like need to make my kid perfect. And that's going to suck. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to you.
Sweet.
But I feel like it's very similar to what we just talked about. And I'm still curious, like what's the thing that's most alive for you right now?
Let's see. Ooh. Are we going to go for that one? I don't even know what this is. We might need to do a little back and forth to see what I'm even talking about. I think this is like a divine mother vibe. I was feeling it when I was walking before this podcast. And I cried about it a lot this week, and it was awesome. But it's kind of just like, man, these trees are out here for me. It's kind of like, damn, reality is just holding me. Like, reality is just out here for me. Like, what I thought on my walk is like, damn, how much would I pay? How much would I pay to exist?
Oh, that's so good.
like because at first I was like, oh, that's such a beautiful tree, and I was like, those are such beautiful flowers, and like these houses are so nice, and it's like a sunny day and it's spring. And then I was like, whoa, like Daniel Thorson said this thing I really like about like divine mother, or like secure attachment to divine feminine energy, whatever you want to call it. He said something like, notice how reality is always accepting itself exactly as it is, and that you are a part of that. And so there's that, and that kind of like suffuses through my whole experience. But then like almost one layer deeper is like, how much would I pay to like, it's not even like be born, how much would I pay to just like have experience, like to have experience at all, like what a gift.
So good. When you shared that, I was like, I've had every single insight you just had on the retreat, and I was like, how much my friend said it too. It's like in the Zen tradition, like they talk about like attachment to form, attachment to the formless, and usually it's like, oh, we're going from form to formless, and then you have like, you come out of it, you're like attached to the formless. It's like, oh, I want love, I want to feel empty, I want to blah blah. But then he was like, what if we came from the formless and we saw this, the fucking trees and the whatever, like the reality that we're experiencing? It's like, how much attachment would there be to form? And talking about this after retreat and like during retreat too, like it's sunny day, I'm out here in the garden gardening every day. It's so fucking beautiful. And I was just like thinking the same thought, like this all feels so priceless. This all feels like intimately so perfect and so loving. And reality is making itself. I'm not doing anything. It's making every moment. And I get to experience and exist in it. And I can't fall out of the universe. And every time I've suffered, it's been because I denied my own truth and thought that the love was a lie. So then it's like I was thinking about all of this as you were saying it, and like the podcast episode where we just talk about love for like 40 minutes, and I'm just like, it's just love, man.
Yeah. And you hearing you speak about it, I remember another thought I had on the walk. It's like, wow, you know, if I was laying in the grass, like, wow, like the world gave all of this to me for no reason, and I just get to lie in the grass, and like the earth and the grass are holding me. But then it's like, if I take me to be, if I'm not even my body in some sense, so whatever I am that's not my body, then it's like the world also just created my body. to like caress me. The world created my whole body just to like lovingly caress me. Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think the Tantric tradition has like one of the gods is like, it's like I paint the universe with my body or something along the lines.
Whoa.
And it is quite direct. Like that's when I talk about like when it's like your body map merges with the vision. Like that's the experience. It's like you paint the universe. Like the universe is painted on your body, and you get to see it arise and get it to experience it every moment. And you forget. And even there's like another tantric god, which is like, oh, the god of like hide and seek. It's like it's hiding from you, hiding this insight and realization, and then showing it. And then you're like, whoa! And then it hides it again, and then it shows it. You're like, whoa! It's all love. And there's like a magic and beauty to that hide and seek, the game of seeking as well.
Yeah. Existential peekaboo.
Yeah.
Also alive for me on the same vibe, the thing that broke me into like the beauty of reality exactly as it is. I was reading the Tao of Pooh, banger, highly recommend. Taoism plus Winnie the Pooh. So good. Then I finished that and I was just reading regular Winnie the Pooh, also banger. Highly recommend. It's really funny. But from the Tao of Pooh and from Winnie the Pooh, there's this quote that I want to share. Pooh, what's your favorite thing in the world? Oh my God, dude. This thing, I had 2 view conversations. I cried for an hour 5 days ago, and this quote got me there, to the natural beauty of the universe. And preface, I love this so much that I'm insecure that you or other people not like it. So first, just fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. This is banger. I don't care what you think. I care what you think. I don't care what you think. Fuck you. Without further ado, oh my God. So Christopher Robin, he's like the boy who hangs out with Pooh. And Christopher Robin, oh my God. He's like, Christopher Robin says to Pooh, what do you like doing best in the world, Pooh? Well, said Pooh, what I like best. And then he had to stop and think. Because although eating honey was a very good thing to do, there was a moment just before you began to eat it, which was better than when you were. But he didn't know what it was called. And then he thought that being with Christopher Robin was a very good thing to do. And having Piglet near was a very friendly thing to have. And so when he thought it all out, he said, what I like best in the whole world is me and Piglet going to see you, and you saying, what about a little something? And me saying, well, I shouldn't mind a little something should you, Piglet, and it being a hummy sort of day outside, and birds singing.
Oh. The whole body's tingling. Reality's tingling.
Who is locked in like that? So good.
It reminds me of like, oh, there's like a song by Cloud Cult, and it starts with like some Christopher Robin something something. I don't remember the song. It was a banger song. And like it's like playing in my head, but I don't remember the lyrics, and it's like, oh, it's nice.
Okay. We need one more Winnie the Pooh quote.
Yes, bring it. Bring the Winnie the Pooh quote.
This is from the Tao of Pooh. It's not from actual Winnie the Pooh. It's from simulated Winnie the Pooh, but it's still pretty banger. Okay. And this one's a little more direct. So if you didn't get the vibe on that one, you'll probably get the vibe on this one. Okay. So again, so this is actually the author of the Tao of Pooh talking to Winnie the Pooh. So he goes, say, Pooh, why aren't you busy? Pooh goes, because it's a nice day. Yeah, but why ruin it? Pooh said. But you could be doing something important, I said. I am. Oh, doing what? Listening, he said. Listening to what? To the birds and that squirrel over there. What are they saying? That it's a nice day. But you know that already. Yeah, but it's always good to hear that somebody else thinks so too.
Oh, it's so nice. It's so beautiful. It's so simple.
Yeah, pretty unreal.
Yeah. Every insight for me during the retreat was like an experience of like this complicated thing breaking down into this simple thing, which is love. And
yeah,
reminds me of that one episode where we talked about love nonstop again.
Yeah, I literally just read Daniel Thorson's essays for like 12 hours today and yesterday, and I opened up a note. I opened up a note on my notes app, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take notes. And after like 5 minutes, what it came down to is poetic attunement is equal to understanding is equal to love.
Just back to love, but really fun and good intellectual framing such that it's more grounded and you're based and vibed.
Yeah.
Love is very high. It's like, it's so high that like, it's fucked because you get lost in the sauce and you need to ground love.
That's interesting. I think I disagree.
Oh, go for it. I'm curious. This is also off the cuff.
Something's high, but I don't think it's love, because I'm like, love's everywhere. Love's everything.
Yeah. That's
but something is high. Something is definitely high. I don't know what to call
it. The mystical, like hippie love.
Really that is high.
It's very easy to feel.
Yeah.
And it's not very grounded and it's not everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's like, if I had to put a word to it, I would call it enchantment, or maybe even magic, maybe even sacredness.
Yeah, those all sound very ungrounded.
Yeah, sacredness. I mean, the sacredness can be everywhere too, but I do think it's easier for it to be higher. And yeah, the last alive thing for me is higher power / God. Just like, well, related to exploring my relationship with authority. My current best guess is like relationship with higher power. I'm going to say God from now on. Like my relationship with God, because I'm like, how do I hold my authority? And then I'm like, God, how do I hold my authority? And he's like, you got it. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm complete.
Me too. Take us out, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And like I say every week, we'll continue doing this for as long as we enjoy it.
That's our promise to you. Embodiment check was 50% of your attention in your body. If it wasn't, scream out loud at yourself. And if it was, scream out loud at yourself, but in a positive way. Thank you for listening. See you next time.